Does hiring a criminal lawyer make you look guilty? Hi, I'm Jeff Hampton with the Hampton Law Firm. I want to welcome you to our YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about this because I hear this all the time. I'll have people call me and say, I got a call from a detective and they're wanting me to come in and talk to them, or I think I might be under investigation. Does hiring a criminal lawyer make me look guilty? Let me just start right out of the gate by saying no. And before I tell you why, I also want to remind you I want to give you a free ebook, What to Do If You Have Been Charged with a Crime in Texas. At the end of this video, I'll encourage you to wait till the end and I'll give you instructions on how to receive that. All right? Now, why doesn't it make you look guilty? I think the problem is many people, when they get on a phone call with a detective, they're afraid that detective is trained to try to make you feel like you don't need a lawyer. No reason to hire an attorney. I mean, you're innocent, man. Why don't you just talk to me about what's going on, right? And so you begin to maybe start thinking, well, right, I am innocent. I have nothing to lose or nothing to hide. Why wouldn't I just share all this? I'm sure the truth will be told and the detective will see that I've done nothing wrong. Be very, very careful. And I want to break this down into a couple of portions. First kind of 2 points I want to look at is, why do you need a lawyer? And let's see, number one, if you're under investigation. Well, if you're under investigation, remember one of the biggest reasons there is if you're under investigation, the detective is going to be asking you questions that, of course, that can be used against you. So in that situation, hiring an attorney, the only person who's ever going to tell you that hiring an attorney makes you look guilty are the police. That's it. Only a detective is going to say that. Well, if you're innocent, man, why do you need a lawyer? They're trained to tell you that, okay? And I don't want to sound like, the poster child for a defense attorney when I say this, but I just want you to understand, they are not on your side. If a detective is calling you, trying to get information from you, they have already labeled you as a person of interest or as a suspect in a situation. So the worst thing to possibly do is to trust them, okay? So it's important that you understand that. But what if you're already arrested and charged? Does hiring a lawyer make you look guilty? No, of course not. In fact, you must have a lawyer. If it's an arrestable offense, you are required by the law, by our Constitution, that you must have legal counsel to help assist you. So it's required under the law, and it's much better under normal circumstances to hire an attorney than to get a public defender. In fact, I encourage you to go back through some of my most recent videos. I talk about the difference between a public defender and hiring your own private lawyer, and whether or not a public defender is actually free. Sometimes it's not. So go back and check out those videos if you get time, and you'll see more about that information. But see, I want you to understand, only police officers and law enforcement will tell you that it makes you look guilty. Because I want you to realize, under the 6th Amendment to the United States Constitution, you have an absolute right to have an attorney help you. You can hire a lawyer for any instance of whatever you have going on, and that is not a basis that it can be used against you in court to say you got an attorney, okay? You also have a 5th Amendment right to remain silent. So the detective, when he begins to speak to you, the best thing to do is to make your constitutional rights operational. Take advantage of those constitutional rights by saying, I'm not going to speak to you about this matter, and I'm going to absolutely have my attorney reach out to you, okay? So there's nothing wrong, and you should not feel guilty or be afraid that it makes you look guilty if you hire an attorney. So what happens if you don't hire a lawyer? Well, let's say you decide, I'm worried about looking guilty, I want to clear my name, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go talk to him and I'm going to have everything written down. I'm going to explain everything to the detective. He'll completely understand. Well, the problem is, what if that detective, and you are innocent, right? What if that detective misinterprets what you say? What if that detective manipulates what you say? What if you write something down and it leads to more questions that you get confused about, but now the detective interprets your answers as some type of confession to a possible crime? Also, the officer may already believe you did it, and they're not really investigating at all. This happens all the time with detectives. I tell people this, and it's a very true statement. Remember, understand this for a moment. The detective is a hammer, and suspects are nails. So if they come to you, they're used to hammering nails, and that's used to what they're seeing. So many times they believe that if they're investigating someone, they must have done something wrong, and they're not always going to be objective in their analysis of investigation. So, and by the way, if you decide to talk without an attorney, remember, it's your word versus the officer's word. Who do you think the judge is going to believe if there's an arrest warrant? Your word or the officer's word? Always going to believe the detective, okay? Now, what happens if you hire a lawyer? You hiring a lawyer cannot be used in court to make it appear that you were doing something that's guilty at all. Not at all. To hire a lawyer is not only a constitutional right, but you have everything to gain and nothing to lose by hiring an attorney, because it acts as a firewall between you and law enforcement, and it ensures that nothing can be manipulated or misinterpreted in the evidence collection process. And the moment you hire a lawyer, the Sixth Amendment right kicks in. The detective can no longer communicate with you. Your Fifth Amendment right kicks in, because now everything your attorney says is hearsay. And now, even though it can be used to benefit you, to share information and evidence, the detective can't take that information and use it against you in any manner whatsoever. In fact, we did this one time representing a client where he had a video of certain information that he wanted to share with us to show that he was innocent. Now, the detective was trying to talk to our client, and he was going to try to twist and turn that information by claiming he already had the video and that he just wanted to ask that some follow-up questions to our client. Come to find out, he didn't have the full video. He wasn't looking at everything. Our client provided that information to us, and what were we able to do? We were able to get that information to the detective, provide context behind it about what happened, and as a result of that, no case ended up coming out of that because the detective didn't have enough evidence. Remember, the detective must have probable cause to bring a charge, and the district attorney's office must have proof beyond a reasonable doubt in order to convict you, okay? So everything your lawyer says is hearsay, but everything you say can be used as a confession against you. Never, ever be ashamed of hiring a criminal lawyer. When I hear people say, hiring a criminal lawyer, isn't that gonna make me look guilty? It makes me so upset, because only you can receive the protection of your legal rights if you stand up for those legal rights. No reason to ever be ashamed of hiring a criminal lawyer to protect you if you're under a criminal investigation, all right? Now, I promised you a free ebook, What to Do If You've Been Charged with a Crime in Texas. Click through down into the YouTube video text portion and you'll see the link there. I encourage you to leave your email address. We'll send you over that ebook. And I hope you've enjoyed this video today. If you did, I encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the video. We'll send you over more great content just like this, and we'll see you next time.